The FBI agent was standing at my door at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday. Are you Rebecca Morrison? Yes? I'm Agent Williams. Can we come in? We need to talk to you about your DNA profile on Ancestry. My DNA profile? What did the FBI want with my DNA? We believe your DNA has helped us identify a suspect in a series of cold case murders from the 1990s. May we come in? I let them in because what else do you do when the FBI shows up at your door? They showed me photos, 3 women, dead, murdered between 1992 and 1995 in Oregon. Your DNA match suggests the killer is a close family member, a parent, sibling, uncle, or first cousin. Can you help us narrow that down? My name is Rebecca Morrison. I'm 48 years old. I live in Seattle, Washington. I'm a high school biology teacher. I have 2 kids, a normal, quiet life. In 2021, I took an Ancestry DNA test for fun to see my ethnicity breakdown. I'm part of a genealogy group that was doing a project together. I got my results, looked at them once, never thought about them again. Until Agent Williams showed up at my door in September 2023. The murders occurred in Portland, Oregon between 1992 and 1995, Agent Williams explained, spreading crime scene photos across my kitchen table. 3 women, ages 24, 27, and 31, all found strangled in their apartments. No forced entry, no sexual assault, clean crime scenes. I stared at the photos, feeling sick. I don't understand what this has to do with me. The killer left DNA evidence at 2 of the crime scenes. Skin cells under the victim's fingernails, blood from a defensive wound. We kept the samples, but DNA technology in the 1990s wasn't advanced enough to do much with it. And now? Now we have genetic genealogy. We uploaded the killer's DNA to public databases, got matches. The strongest match is you. You share 850 centimorgans with the killer. What does that mean? It means the killer is one of your close relatives. Based on the amount of shared DNA, we're looking at an uncle, nephew, or first cousin. I felt the room spinning. You think someone in my family is a serial killer? We're almost certain of it. Agent Williams pulled out a notepad. Let's go through your family tree. Who are your close male relatives who would have been adults in the 1990s and had access to Portland, Oregon? I thought through my family. My father is deceased. He died in 2010. He would have been in his 50s in the 1990s. Where did he live? Michigan. Never left the state as far as I know. Brothers? No, he was an only child. Okay, what about your mother's side? My mother is still alive, lives in Florida. She has 3 brothers, my uncles. Agent Williams leaned forward. Tell me about them. Uncle Robert is in Texas. Uncle James is in Massachusetts. Uncle Frank was in Seattle. Was? He died in 2019, heart attack. Frank Morrison, your uncle, he lived in Seattle. That's close to Portland. Yes, about 3 hours away. Did he travel to Portland frequently? I don't know. Maybe. He was a salesman. He traveled for work. Agent Williams made a note. Anyone else? Cousins? I have several cousins, but most of them would have been teenagers or children in the 1990s. What about your paternal grandfather, your dad's father? He died before I was born, in the 1970s. Agent Williams cross-referenced something on her laptop. Rebecca, I need to ask you something. Are you comfortable providing a direct DNA sample? The Ancestry database is helpful, but a full DNA test would let us compare more precisely. To catch a killer? Yes, of course. 3 weeks later, the results came back. Agent Williams called me. Rebecca, can you meet us? We need to discuss the results. I went to the FBI field office in Seattle. They had a conference room set up with multiple agents, a genetic genealogist, and a detective from the Portland Police Department. Your DNA confirms that the killer is your maternal uncle, Frank Morrison, Agent Williams said. He's deceased, so we can't arrest him, but we can close the cases. I felt like I'd been punched. Uncle Frank? No, that's impossible. He was a good person. He came to my wedding. He met my kids. The detective, Detective Harris, pulled out files. Frank Morrison lived in Seattle from 1985 until his death in 2019. He worked as a pharmaceutical sales rep. His territory included Oregon, Washington, and Northern California. He traveled to Portland regularly for work. They showed me timelines. Frank had been in Portland for work conferences the week of each murder. His hotel records placed him within 2 miles of each crime scene. "We exhumed his body last week," Agent Williams said quietly. "Compared his DNA directly to the crime scene samples. It's a match, 100% certainty. Frank Morrison killed those 3 women. Why? Why would he do that? We don't know. He was never investigated at the time, never suspected. He died having gotten away with it." They showed me photos of the victims again. Rachel Johnson, 24, art teacher. Michelle Davis, 27, nurse. Amanda White, 31, social worker. 3 women. Dead because my uncle decided to kill them. "Did he hurt anyone else?" I asked. "Were there other victims?" "We're investigating, looking at unsolved cases in his travel areas during the years he was working. But these are the only 3 we can definitively connect to him." The FBI asked me not to tell my family until they'd completed their investigation and notified the victims' families. 2 months later, they gave me permission. I called my mother first. "Mom, I need to tell you something about Uncle Frank." "What about Frank?" The FBI found evidence that he murdered 3 women in the 1990s. My DNA test helped them identify him. Silence. Then, "That's ridiculous. Frank would never..." "They exhumed his body, Mom. They compared his DNA directly. It's certain. Uncle Frank was a killer." My mother didn't speak to me for 3 weeks. When she finally called back, she said, "I've been going through Frank's belongings, things his wife gave me after he died. I found a journal from 1992. He wrote about having dark thoughts, about being afraid of what he might do." "Did you give it to the FBI?" "Yes. They think Frank was struggling with something, some compulsion he couldn't control. The journal suggests he tried to fight it, but eventually gave in. My cousins, Frank's children, were devastated. They'd lost their father to a heart attack in 2019. Now they had to grapple with him being a murderer. Everything we thought we knew about Dad was a lie. My cousin Sarah told me. I can't reconcile the father who taught me to ride a bike with a man who strangled 3 women." "I know. I'm so sorry. Why did you have to take that DNA test? Why couldn't you have just left it alone?" I didn't know how to answer that. The FBI arranged for me to meet one of the victims' mothers, Rachel Johnson's mother, Patricia. She was 76 years old, frail. She'd spent 30 years not knowing who killed her daughter. "Thank you," she said, gripping my hands. "Thank you for taking that test. Thank you for helping them find him. I didn't do anything. I just took a DNA test for fun. You gave us answers. You gave us closure. For 30 years, I wondered who killed my Rachel. Now I know. And knowing is better than not knowing. I'm sorry it was my uncle. You didn't do it. You don't carry his guilt. But in some ways I do. I carry the knowledge that my DNA, my family tree, led to him. I carry the weight of explaining to my children that their great-uncle was a murderer. Your family carries his genes, but not his choices, Patricia told me. Remember that. Frank Morrison died in 2019, thinking he'd gotten away with murder, but genetic genealogy caught him 4 years after his death. The Portland Police Department officially closed 3 cold cases in December 2023. The families finally have answers. And I learned that sometimes, when you spit into a tube for an ancestry test, you don't just find where you came from. Sometimes you find out where evil hid in your family tree. I still do genetic genealogy. I still work with my genealogy group. But now I understand that DNA testing isn't just about finding cousins or learning your ethnicity. Sometimes it's about justice. Have you helped solve a cold case through DNA testing? Have you discovered dark secrets in your family tree? Share your story in the comments. Subscribe for more true stories about DNA discoveries, cold cases, and the unexpected ways science brings justice. New stories every week. Thanks for listening.